Name something, anything that's part of a business that technology doesn't touch. It's tough. It's tough to come up with anything. And that's what's happened, is that business is still kind of the way it has been. Even accounting, double entry ledger spreadsheet, the technique is still the same, but it's all now done on computers. It's all technology. It's all the information. And so I don't think as a business person you can even consider your long-term or short-term plans without where is technology fitting in. And the problem is for a lot of us is that as we've moved forward, our sense of security, our sense of what we're going to be doing, and that we're now the caretakers of this information, whether it's your information or your client's information, you now have to take very special care with that, and a lot of us don't even consider it. We're so busy doing the day-to-day things that we miss the big picture of, hey, we have to be careful with this. First decided to get into computer security simply out of being asked to talk about it. 15 years ago, we were just trying to get people to use antivirus. I mean, that was the big thing, put antivirus on. And back then, when we were giving talks. We were giving talks to these business people, to industry leaders who were still trying to figure out this whole internet thing was new and what's going on and how can we use this. And we're like, we need to be careful. There are some things that we need to talk about and some questions we need to answer when it comes to this. And lo and behold, we thought we were just doing it because it was fun. And then we discovered, hey, somebody might actually pay us for this information, pay us to help them keep them safe. And really, for us, we were one of the first organizations that provided this, not just in Alaska, but around the country. One of the frustrating things is that, yeah, sometimes I feel like I am selling life insurance. And I come in and I tell people, hey, you need to do this, otherwise bad things are going to happen. When bad things happen, here's what's going to go on, and you need to have some insurance. And people look at me like, well, it's not going to happen to me. That happens outside. That happens to other people. That gets in the paper. I've got an IT person. They tell me everything's safe, everything's secure, and I'm like, okay, you can pay me a little bit now to help you mitigate those things, or you can pay me a lot when things go to heck in a handbasket. And so trying to get people to understand that it's okay to talk about the worst case scenarios, it's okay to talk about employees stealing things, stealing information. We have to have those conversations because I get calls. It used to be 1 a week, now I get 2 a week from Alaskan businesses, from Alaskan people going, something's happened, I need help. The biggest problem that I see small businesses and medium and large businesses make is that they don't consider the security information. There seems to be a disconnect, a mental disconnect between this information and its value to the real world. And what I see people doing is that they don't put the controls, the policies, the procedures, or even the sense of what does this mean? What does this mean to me? Or what does this mean to my clients? And what if I lose it? What if it gets deleted? What if it gets stolen? The other thing I see a lot of businesses do with their information is they offload the responsibility onto an IT department or a single IT person. And at the end of the day, as a business person and a business owner, it is ultimately your responsibility. We all think, oh, it must be safe and secure because we have an IT person. That's not good enough. You have to, as a business owner, you have to make sure and ask the questions. You don't need to be a tech head, but you do need to ask, what do we have? What kind of guidelines do we have? What kind of protections do we have? Do we have a plan in place? What happens? And it may not just be that this information is stolen. What happens if it just simply becomes unavailable? That too is something to consider. Is can I do my job? Can I help my clients if I can't get to my data? So those are questions that you have to ask. Small businesses need to first figure out, where is my important information? Where is it? Is it on this computer? Is it on this server? Is it now in the cloud? Once you know where the data is, you then need to classify it. You need to decide, this is public. I can put this on my website. This is private. Maybe this is something we want to have a few more controls, or this is something that really is confidential. Client data, dates of birth, social security numbers. And so find the data, classify it, and then take steps to protect it. Passwords are a problem because how do you have a password that is easy enough to remember but difficult to guess? And in some of the classes I teach, we spend a great deal of time thinking about that. And one of the best methods that I've come up with is essentially a behavioral profile system where you yourself know yourself better than I do. So you need to come up with themes, with things that you're passionate about. Not your kids and your dog, but think of things. For example, I have one friend that her thing is poetry. So as we're talking, I realize that she has poetry memorized. Other people have songs memorized. Other people have makes and models of their favorite motorcycle or whatever it is that you're passionate about. Take the theme, take that idea, and take it one step further. So in her case, she actually has a particular poet that is her bank poet. In that particular poet, she then remembers the password based on the first line, the first stanza, in the first letter. And so she's able to create, from memory, these long passwords that she doesn't have to write down, but she actually can't just come up with them and spit them out. She has to take a moment and stop, but she's able to then do it. And it's locked away in her head. She can get to it when she needs to, but it's not something she has to write down. It's something that once you master it, it works fairly well, but it takes some practice. That no matter how long somebody has worked for you, the possibility of them going and taking things is high. We see it in the old-fashioned fraud when it comes to accountants, bookkeepers, that sort of thing. And we've seen it for years, and they're generally seen as a loyal employee. And that may be until you find out that they've been skimming hundreds of thousands of dollars off the top. So the idea is trust but verify, having some controls that allow people to know that, that there is an expectation of privacy. There's an expectation also of making sure that you are the keeper of that data. And we're going to hold you to a certain level of professionalism when it comes to that. Good policies and procedures. It's not sexy. They don't make movies about policies and procedures, but taking the time so that everybody on your staff, everybody in your company knows what the expectations are, knows what a potential problem can be, and if they do violate it, what problems are going to be coming their way. Most problems can be solved at least by that, so that everybody knows the rules of the road, having good policies and procedures. And then working with your IT person or your staff, if you're lucky enough to have a full IT staff, to say, okay, let's talk about it. What do we need to make sure that the outside problems, hackers going through the firewall, do we have antivirus on every machine, including the servers? Do we have the information broken up into smaller areas? Have we classified that information? Those things, yeah, can be a little labor intensive, but they generally don't cost a lot of money. Look at your information. One of the things I tell a lot of small businesses is, where's your bookkeeping information? Is that bookkeeping information you're using QuickBooks or whatever, and that's great, but is it on the same computer that you use to surf the web, to go to Amazon? Is it the same computer that your 16-year-old kid uses for their homework? No. Have it on a separate computer, physically separate. Not only does it mentally help you kind of break between what job you're doing, because as small business people, we all wear different hats, but it also is a physical electronic separation between that data. The idea being is if somebody downloads something, gets a problem, or somebody breaks into your one computer, it's not going to get into your other stuff. So simply just physically separating your information can be a huge help for a small business person. For a lot of businesses, they're starting to leverage online payment systems, PayPal, Square, which is a wonderful opportunity. But I tell everybody, again, you are the caretaker of your business. You need to be the caretaker of that information as well. Just because it is with some company that has a big name doesn't mean that's necessarily safe and secure. You have to trust but verify. And just because that information, remember, it's your client's information. It's their information. So you have to go and do your own audit. Take the time. You can do it online. Go in to check to make sure that who has access to it. Has anybody been looking at it other than you? Are the numbers getting there? Is the money being transferred properly? Just because it worked last month doesn't mean it works this month. It's the same thing I tell people in the real world to check your credit card statements. Go through them every month, because every once in a while you'll find something. And if everything's good, again, then you know that you're doing your due diligence. And that, at the end of the day, is what you need to do as a business owner. You have to do your own due diligence. Interesting enough, I was kind of thinking about, errors, mistakes that I've made, and going as far back as a rookie police officer, I made a assumption one day. An officer came to me, and he was a senior officer. I'd only been on probably 3 weeks. I mean, I was a rookie. And he said, Glenn, we've got this problem. This guy has been harassing this person online. You have this computer background. Can you kind of, help me understand this? I immediately saw his problem, immediately went into, we're going to get a search warrant. We're going to then follow the IP address. We're going to go through this, and then we're going to do this. We're going to get another search warrant that will then give us the information. And as I'm telling this, he's kind of standing there looking at me, and I finished this big diatribe of this technical solution that I had just come to, and I was waiting because I was going to be so proud that here I was helping the senior officer. And he looked at me and he goes, I kind of thought we might just go talk to him. And I said, well, I guess we could try that. And that's what we did. And he ended up confessing. We ended up building the case. And I never forgot that. And in business, we sometimes forget that the simplest answer is to go talk to somebody. We have all this technology. We have all these things that we can bring to bear. But at the end of the day, it's about people. And it's about asking the right questions and getting outside the technology. So that was a mistake. That was an error and an assumption that I have tried very hard to never make again.